Good morning. This is the Great Basin Fire Potential Briefing for Saturday, June 19th. Looking at our impact map for today, quite a bit. The record heat has been continuing. We continue with the isolated to scattered lightning across central and eastern portions of the Great Basin. It'll be a third day of lightning. Also, some gusty winds further up north into northern Utah, into parts of eastern Idaho and western Wyoming, where they've dried out quickly. Behind a dry cold front on Sunday, strong winds in the vicinity of lightning here on Sunday across central and eastern Utah. Be a big concern if you look back to the lightning that's forecast there for today and what has already occurred, which we'll look at in a minute. On Monday, things quiet down, but a trough of low pressure off the west coast will start producing some gusty winds off the lee of the Sierra. Will have to be watched. There's been some fire and lightning activity there lately. So let's look at it. There's that lightning in the lee of the Sierra through there. More widespread lightning as we go across the eastern portion of the Great Basin. So again, a big concern there. Precipitation on the left has been spotty. A lot of this is radar derived. So the actual amounts reaching the ground probably even lighter. That's being shown here, a couple of hundredths of an inch here and there. So it was a pretty significant dry lightning event. You can see some of the new fire starts in the red, some of that in the vicinity of the lightning. So keep an eye on that. Existing fires in the yellow, so things picking up. We're PL3 here in the Great Basin. Precipitation over the past 7 days been bone dry, other than a few isolated drops reaching the ground in a few areas here in southern Utah and the Arizona Strip and parts of Nevada. If you go to 7 to 14 days out, there was a cold front that produced some decent showers and a half inch to an inch of rain across parts of western Idaho. That has quickly started to fade. And you can see by the ERCs how critically dry we are, near record levels in the purple, 90th to 96th percentile in the dark red. And a lot of those reds are extending up into Idaho and even in western Idaho, where they had those showers about 9 days ago. That has definitely started to really evaporate through there. 100-hour fuels shows that critically dry, as low as it gets, less than 5% on the 100-hour fuels areas in the red, covering much of southern Idaho and the rest of the southern half of the Great Basin and other areas not too far behind western Idaho, despite the rain about 9 days ago, single digit on the 100-hour fuels. Satellite imagery shows high pressure continuing across the Four Corners, actually shifted a bit further westwards. That brought up some of that moisture into Nevada and into parts of Utah. So we'll start seeing this exit. There's a little low pressure trough dropping down out of Canada. It will enhance the westerlies. Should push out a lot of this moisture in the next 24 hours. We are looking at one more day of lightning. So here it is on the upper level map. You can see the drier air punching in from the west in that tannish shade, but still some lingering moisture here in eastern Utah. This darker black indicates where there's borderline moisture for thunderstorms, mostly high base. You can see where the high risk is for lightning here across eastern Utah, and also some high risk for wind further northwards into eastern Idaho, western Wyoming, and parts of the Uinta Wasatch. Otherwise, much above normal temperatures and low humidity continue. There are those winds up there on the left-hand side across the Snake River Plain into parts of western Wyoming. I'll have to watch. Moderately breezy across some areas that have had lightning, so maybe 10, 20 mile an hour winds. On the right-hand side, there is the moisture that lingers today. These will be high-base thunderstorms. So again, a couple of dozen strikes at least possible across the eastern parts of our area. Notice that we have high risk for wind on Sunday across much of the eastern Great Basin. This is an area in areas that have had lightning for the last 2 or 3 days, so it'll be really significant with any new starts. If we look at the upper level map, the high pressure shifts further westwards into western Nevada. The tight packing of these height lines through here shows a dry cold front swing through eastern Idaho into eastern Utah, and that's going to enhance the winds. You can see the winds through here in these orange to purple shades, anywhere from 25 to 35 miles per hour. Even where they're slightly less, it's going to be in areas where it's very dry and they've had lightning in the last couple of days. You can see the humidity down there, 10 to 15% or some single digits even. On Monday, things quiet down. We are looking at a low pressure trough starting to develop. It's a dry one. it will start increasing the southwest winds across the region, and for that we do have high risk in the lee of the Sierra here in the western Great Basin. You can see some of those winds through here in the green to orange, 25 to 30, maybe a little bit higher, but there was some recent lightning and fire activity there. Relative humidity on the right remains bone dry, going down into the single digits, even a 2% down there, about as low as it can possibly get on the planet in southern Utah. 3-day precip totals, a lot of this is just 1 or 2 hundredths of an inch here in the green, so don't be fooled by the aerial coverage. Very little precipitation reaching the ground with these high base thunderstorms. Real quickly, as we go into Tuesday, trough low pressure still located off the west coast, enhancing the southwest wind gradient. The winds push further, so these will be southwest winds gusting near 30 miles per hour, again in the vicinity of existing fires and recent lightning. We continue with that threat on Wednesday with the winds through here across the portions of the Nevada-Utah border areas. You can see the tight height packing in the southwest upper level flow with the dry air punching in. And we'll see if those winds continue on Thursday. There is a bit of a green blip here. It could be some isolated lightning popping up over central Nevada at that time. And the low still sits there, so still some breezes possible. We may have to issue high risk for winds across our southern areas if this continues, and maybe some isolated lightning in northwest Nevada. 7-day precip totals, basically this is in the first 24 hours or 36 hours, and the 8 to 14-day outlook shows we continue to bake with much above to near record heat across the Great Basin, especially the western portion of the Great Basin, a little cooler to the east. But still above normal, and a very strong, drier than normal signal continues. So we stay hot, we stay dry for the foreseeable future. This concludes our briefing. Have a great